One thing about Attorney Fisher is he likes fairness, so I believe everyone will be treated equally.
He likes helping people. I'm looking for a fighter.
I'm looking for a senator who is willing to stand up for the people.
I'm looking for someone who not only supports the older generation, but also the younger generation.
He's a good man and he does what he says.
The Diaz family supports Tom Fisher.
I'm Tom Fisher, and I approve this message.
Just like you, Felix and I are outraged at the growing crime rate and lack of justice on Guam. We are outraged at the number of criminals arrested, released, and back on the streets committing more crimes. Along with crime prevention and reduction initiatives, Felix and I will work with lawmakers, law enforcement, and the courts to reduce repeat offenders, prevention, rehabilitation where possible, and harsh punishments for criminals. It's time for a new season.
I'm Felix Camacho.
I'm Tony Ada.
We approve this message.
Here on the 7th floor of the DNA building in Hagåtña, Guam. I'm Troy Torres. Thank you so much for joining us as we continue on this third part of our investigative series into a contract at Guam Memorial Hospital that is using public funds to pay commission. It is a lucrative contract for those who are profiting from this, and we'll tell you who's profiting in this next piece when we come back from this commercial break. Stick with us.
Half a day. My name is Marianne Tyron, and I'm running for a seat in the 37th Guam Legislature. You might remember me from my media days, as I spent over 20 years covering news here on Guam. More recently, I served as a senator in the 31st Guam Legislature and as the deputy administrator of the Guam Economic Development Authority. I've always been an advocate for businesses and for building a strong economy for our island, and over the years have worked to create new laws that help to increase business activity and develop new industries on Guam. I've also created legislation that helped to improve access to government services. If elected to serve again, I will continue to focus on improving the economy because I believe that building a strong economy will allow us to better address critical needs in public safety, healthcare, and education. This general election, I ask that you give me one of your votes. I'm Marianne Tyron, and I'm number 12 on the Republican side of the ballot.
Half a day, I'm Senator Chris Duenas. We've gone from a viral pandemic to a drug epidemic. It is time to stand up the multi-agency unified law enforcement group to stem the flow of drugs and combat crime with force. MAULIC is not just another task force, it is a program focused on stopping the distribution of meth and opioids, as well as placing enough police officers patrolling our streets. It is time to make Guam MAULIC again.
Re-elect Senator Chris Duenas. The fight continues.
I am Chris Duenas, and I approve this message.
Half a day. I moved to Guam 23 years ago, living paycheck to paycheck just to make ends meet. Through hard work, I was able to build small businesses, not just to sustain my family, but also to provide job opportunities for our island. But I want more for Guam. I will use my experience to strengthen our economy by promoting affordable housing, food sustainability, and foster growth for all businesses. Together, we can make Guam stronger from within and set new standards for our island. I'm Bishop Mendiola, and I approve this message.
Welcome back. The men behind the company that is profiting lucratively from Guam Memorial Hospital's collection of patient revenue have close ties to Governor Leon Guerrero, her administration, and her campaign. According to the affidavit of ownership of MedHealth Solutions, the company is owned by Rene Ramos, Paul Pineda, and Glenn Hermes. Mr. Ramos is no stranger to government contracts in both Guam and the CNMI. The businessman has raked in millions in revenue from both federal and local funds during and before the pandemic. His main business, MedPharm, supplies pharmaceuticals to Guam Memorial Hospital. But that isn't all. Mr. Ramos also owns the RanCare building, which the government of Guam leased during the Leon Guerrero administration via emergency procurement to house several Department of Public Health and Social Services offices. He also is listed several times as a vendor of medical supplies and equipment in the federal spending rolls of both the governments of Guam and the CNMI. This is not to mention Mr. Ramos and his company are hefty contributors to the governor's campaign for public office. Mr. Hermes is a Texas businessman who operates a technology company whose software the hospital now uses to navigate the complex medical billing process. That process has come under fire from some GMH patients who claim their tax refunds have been garnished in error due to faulty billing by GMH since MedHealth came on board. However, it is Mr. Hermes' ties to Guam that have raised eyebrows. The three men listed on the affidavit of ownership may not be the only people benefiting from the MedHealth contract. Mr. Hermes' former associate is Superintendent of Education Francis Santos, who also has been the chairman of the governor's campaign committee. A stipulation in the MedHealth contract with GMH states that anyone under the contract, including employees and subcontractors of MedHealth, cannot also be employed with the government of Guam. Kandit for several days now has asked and repeatedly followed up with Mr. Santos whether he has ever or continues to benefit from the MedHealth contract with GMH. Kandit also has asked GMH legal counsel Jeremiah Luther and spokeswoman Cindy Hansen to either confirm or deny Mr. Santos' relationship with MedHealth. Neither Mr. Santos, Mr. Luther, nor Ms. Hansen have replied to our inquiry. For Kandit News, thank you so much for joining us. I'm Troy Torres. Good day, Marianne.
Today, I'm Senator Joe Simpson. For 6 years, I've worked hard to help our people by raising the minimum wage, tax breaks for small business, gas tax relief, and the GPA rebate program. I want to continue working for you on practical solutions that make a difference. So I humbly ask for your vote on November 8th. Please vote Joe Simpson, number 13, Democrat Senator, Jesus Masi.
Up day. My name's William Parkinson, and I'm standing in the bush. I'm standing in the bush on 4th of July, putting up signs in the rain because I want to be your senator.
I'm standing in the bush before this Christmas.
And I'm sitting in a bush because I forgot to cut the yard and my mom won't let me back in the house.
And I'm sitting here with my niece's Crocs and my cowboy hat in a fire pit.
I am standing under the rain, under the sun.
Right now I'm out here in the hot sun.
And I'm sitting on a trash can in the mud.
And I am sitting in my mom's truck because she's dropping me off to school.
And I'm standing here in a bush, not in the rain, but in Barcelona.
And I'll stand in the costume for you guys with no shirt in the hot sun.
I will fight to make sure we have modern safety nets to prepare us for the next disaster.
I will fight. I'm here to defend your right. I'm your left.
I would even fight the baddest guy from Zotnia. I will fight everything.
Work just as hard to put money in your pocket to fight against the rising utility costs. So please vote for me, William Parkinson, number 8, because I will stand in the rain in a bush for you.
Thank you. Salamat po.
Thank you, Guam. Viva.
I'm Will Parkinson, and I endorse this message.
One thing about Attorney Fisher is he likes fairness, so I believe everyone will be treated equally.
He likes helping people. I'm looking for a fighter.
I'm looking for a senator who is willing to stand up for the people.
I'm looking for someone who not only supports the older generation, but also the younger generation.
He's a good man and he does what he says.
The Diaz family supports Tom Fisher.
I'm Tom Fisher, and I approve this message.